Well, we hear now how they're preparing to take this matter forward. We're joined by Dr. Nandipha Magudumana's attorney, Mr. Machini Motloung. Mr. Motloung, a good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Talk to me about the consultations with your client that led to this decision to head all the way to the Constitutional Court, and how confident you'll be that you can be successful there.
Obviously, as creature of instructions, what happened pursuant to the judgment of the SCA on the 16th of May, we scheduled a consultation with our client and part of the consultation was to also hand over to her the judgment so that she can read the judgment and also apply her mind into the myriad of issues raised in the judgment. We also, on the other hand, as her legal team, owing a duty to advise her accordingly, we went through the judgment as well. Must indicate that there is also a minority judgment which dissented to the majority judgment, which we also applied our minds very carefully on it, and we took a decision that there are merits in us pursuing the matter further. Hence, our next move, a step, which is to approach the Constitutional Court in terms of Rule 19 of the Rules of Constitutional Court for an application for leave to appeal the majority judgment.
Yeah. Take me through, I suppose, what is at the heart of your legal battle, Mr. Motloung. I think that there's a lot of interest around that, right? The argument that you make that Nandipha Magudumana putting forward that she is unable to consent to what she considers an unlawful process. Unpack that for us.
Look, I think it's now common cause that in terms of the Kotako judgment, that is the Free State High Court judgment, that the South African authorities, at the very least, acted unlawfully by way of a disguised extradition in getting Dr. Magudumana from Tanzania to South Africa. And that then the court furthermore made a conclusion of law that her she actually consented to an illegality, so to speak, that had it not been for her consent, and the consent in this instance, it was more about her telling all and sundry that she wanted to go back home and see her children. That's just that one line in the entire case of the respondents dealing with consent. And we sharply argue to the contrary that the manner in which she is deemed to have consented could not really pass the constitutional muster, that one cannot consent to an illegality. So that is actually, central to our argument.
Yeah,
of course, there are other factors that
sure.
are there in the majority judgment that we are also, dealing with extensively, which we do not respectfully agree to. Hence, we are approaching the Constitutional Court for a relief.
Yeah. If we were to look at, let's suppose that you and your client do have success after a process with the Constitutional Court, what that would mean for Nandipha Magudumana and how she's able to continue her other legal battles that are playing out a parallel?
Look, where we are now, remember what the relief that we're seeking is primarily that arrest and further detention should be declared unlawful and should be set aside. But of also equal importance is the issue of jurisdiction, which we are of the firm view that in the event it is found that her arrest and further detention is declared unlawful, the court will then not be in a position to exercise jurisdiction over her, because, resultantly, the waters would have been muddied. One cannot extract urine from water. If you spilled it in a bucket of water, you cannot extract it from that. So once the process has been contaminated, that's the end of it. So that brings to question the issue of jurisdiction.
If you will, before we let you go, Mr. Motloung, the sort of timeframes that you are looking at here as you approach the Constitutional Court, so what it is ideally that you'd like to see where that is concerned, and perhaps just the state of Nandipha Magudumana as all of this unfolds, the anticipation perhaps that she has with heading to ConCourt.
Yeah, look, ordinarily, she would be under. She wouldn't be, in a state where one would be saying, she's comfortable with where she is. The legal battle that she's waging, it's something that, or a route that she's determined to follow to the latter. And obviously that would not necessarily and should never be seen as her being a vexatious litigant. She's asserting a right, and to the extent that the matter that she's bringing into the Constitutional Court, in our view, is meritorious. She remains hopeful that justice will be served at a particular, time and point in this matter.
Mr. Machini Motloung there, the attorney for Nandipha Magudumana, of course, bringing us their view and the plan moving forward as they take the matter of her deportation from Tanzania to South Africa all the way to the Constitutional Court.